All right. So today is going to be one of these streams, okay? It's not going to be any intro. There's no intro. There is no talk. There is no hi, how are you doing? How's your week going? Not today because it's one of these streams. Hold on, I need to hit it. Hold on. Handy dandy notebook day, okay? Mr. Renegade, what did I just say? What did I just say? I just said no hellos. No hellos. All right. This is serious, okay? We listen. This is stop talking. This is serious, guys. Everybody stop talking. I wrote something down for you. You guys know I took time to go through some things today, okay? This is random, very random stream. We're not supposed to be talking today, but here we are. And I need to talk to you guys about this because it's important. Ready? Hookup culture. We need to speak about hookup culture in America and the Western world as a whole right now because um, I've seen way too many videos. I've seen way too many videos um, kind of talking about this subject, but nobody really wants to, I'm not going to say nobody. Jordan Peterson did go into it, and the Whatever podcast does try to go into it a little bit, but when you're talking to a whole table of hoes, it's kind of hard to get into the nitty gritty of what hookup culture is when you have so much deflection going on. On the Whatever podcast, they always have a whole table full of hoes. Okay. When you have a whole table full of hoes, a lot of them are just not paying attention, and a lot of them are not taking the subject very seriously because they're too busy thinking about if their breasts are showing enough to get them subscriptions to their OnlyFans accounts after the show is done. Let's be real, okay? That's what they're thinking, okay? I don't even need to go inside their mind to know that. Let me know if the internet is messing up because I don't know why I feel not good about the internet. Now, I want to speak to you guys. I wrote down some key points here and I want to begin. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I want to get into it, but let me just speak about this, okay? Hookup culture. The question was posed to me in my email, and here was the question. I wrote it down. The question was, Amira, this was from a woman. I'm not going to say who it was, from confidentiality, whatever. She said, Amira, she was talking about why I'm always attacking women. And she said, why is it that women's sexuality is always controlled more than men's sexuality? Shouldn't it be the opposite way around since men are more promiscuous? I'll answer that question and then we'll get into hookup culture. The reason why women's sexuality is controlled more than men's sexuality is because the person that decides if sex is going to happen is the woman. The person who decides who gets laid is the woman. The person who controls access to sex is the woman. The man has sex with who he can have sex with. The woman has sex with who she wants to have sex with, if that makes any sense to you guys. For this reason, women are the ones that have to be controlled in this sector more than men, because if women set the standard of you have to marry before you get to lay in bed with a woman, we wouldn't see the garbage that we see outside today if women set that standard. And it used to be a standard, but it's not there anymore because the women are the ones who have devalued themselves and are giving access to sex to everyone. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry gets a turn. And Tom, Dick, and Harry, most likely, now it is changing, I'll give you that. The men are changing and starting to have more decency and say no to these women. But throughout history, Tom, Dick, and Harry would not say no. If the woman said, would you want to ride? Most of the time, the men would say, Am I tall enough to ride this ride? If I'm tall enough to ride this ride, I'm getting on the ride because it is it is an achievement for men to be able to have a higher body count than a woman. The reason is men do not control that that aspect. Access to sex is controlled by women. So a woman saying that she has a high body count, there's nothing impressive about it because it is easier for a woman to get laid or to get banged or to get whatever nasty word you guys want to use. It's easier for her to have sex than it is for men. It's harder for men to have it. So this is the reason why women's sexuality needs to be controlled more than men's for that person who asked me the question. I opened the show telling you your answer to your question. So don't say I never answered you and don't say I never gave you any attention. I never see you in the chat, so I don't always know who you are. I'm sorry I don't always notice you. To this woman who sent me that question. Next, I want to move on to hookup culture now. Hookup culture, if anybody doesn't know, which I know you all do know, but for anybody who's Eastern, hookup culture in America is the free access pretty much to sex that we have in the Western world, where sex is more free and no one is committing to the other. There is no commitment and it is seen as normal. This is hookup culture. You can lay down with someone on the first night that you meet them. You can have the goat cheese with them one time and never see them again in your life, and that's all good. It's hookup culture. It's microwaving of relationships. It's the microwave relationship. I can call you from Tinder. Oh, you wanna be okay? And then after that, I can block you and I'll never see you again. Hookup culture. I said, here we go. I said, my first bullet point here is talking about technology and social distancing. When I say social distancing, I do not mean COVID. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm not talking about the flu. I'm not talking about Ebola. Social distancing has been happening for about a decade or more now, and that is because of technology. We are no longer as close to each other as we used to be. We are socially distanced from each other, even though the internet has opened up our opportunities to speak with each other from China to Russia. You guys can talk from China to Russia, from France to Uganda, from Uganda to Lebanon, from Lebanon to, we can all speak to each other because we're all kind of connected via the internet. That is one way that we are connected, but in so many ways we are further from the person next to us. The person that lives next to us, we don't know them, we don't know their name, but we know everything about somebody in a small village in Sweden because the internet has connected me to that person in the small village in Sweden, but I don't even know who my neighbor is. We don't talk to each other anymore. We are social distanced. We don't speak to each other. We don't want to speak to each other. We're not interested in the person next to us. We're more interested in speaking to a person online. And this is why you see, I believe it's something like 80% of relationships today start online, start from dating sites. We're socially distanced. And this is not, it has nothing to do with COVID. The next thing I wanted to tell you was talking about social brainwashing. The social brainwashing, I wrote it down, is where we said commonly the devil tells you to say this, but you can use any term you want. The devil, the liberals, it all goes together. The devil, the liberals, the media, the powers that be, use your word, use your terminology. They tell the youth that marriage and commitment is for old school and it's not cool anymore. It's not cool to be virgin. It's not cool to be not a hoe, male or female. You're still a hoe either way. It's not cool to not be out there. The only thing that's cool is being out there and having sex with as many people as you can. So you say the devil, the media, the powers that be tell the youth that marriage and commitment is not cool, and it also creates a kind of a culture where we are desensitized to nudity. Have you guys noticed that? Because so many women walk around naked outside, women walking around with their cleavage out all the time, women walking around showing half of their nalga, women walking around just skin bare, everything is out. There's nothing left for the imagination. We are desensitized. We are desensitized to nudity. It's no longer that tasty, I guess you could say. Like before, because the women were so modest, it was so it was so shocking to see a woman's breasts. If a woman went out with her breast showing, a cleavage showing, it was sexy. People were like, "Whoa, look at that!" It's something to look at. Now, the man sees it so much that it can be almost even repulsing to them now, because it's always in your face. We as women are the ones who have changed. I've said this so many times. Men have not changed much throughout history. Women have been the ones that have changed. Women have become more masculine, more nude, more naked, more rough, more rugged, more repulsive, more crude. Women have been the one that have changed, not men. And the change that women have done, or the changes that have been made with women, are creating, and I'm going to say, a hatred for women, a hatred, a disgust, kind of a resentment towards you, women, because you're using your sexuality and you're using the things that used to be seen as cute or sexy to men. Now you're using them as weapons. Well, they've always been weapons, but at least they were used tactfully and tastefully before. Now it's just all out there and it's disgusting. So that's what I was talking about with the social brainwashing. We're all desensitized to nudity and sexuality, or not sexuality, sex in general. And marriage and commitment is seen as it's not cool anymore. Nobody wants to be married or committed. Another reason why we don't want to be married and committed is because I wrote it down somewhere. Hold on, I'm finding it. Here we go. It's because of the illusion. It's an illusion of a wide range of choices and options. There is an illusion of choices right now for women. And this, I would say, is the most damaging part, one of the most damaging parts of our culture, the whole hookup culture, is that illusion of choices and options that women have. Women believe that they have it made, that if I don't like this guy, I can go to another guy tomorrow. What is that song from Beyonce? Irreplaceable? She said, don't you ever for a second get to thinking that you're irreplaceable? I can have another you by tomorrow. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. Remember that? Treating men like they're just, you're not irreplaceable. I can get another you tomorrow. In fact, he'll be coming here in a second. It's an illusion of options. It's an illusion, because although women think that they have this, they got it made. Oh, if I don't want you, I can go tomorrow. You don't. You don't have it made, because truthfully, even though women control access to sex, men control access to marriage. Men are the ones, just like Kevin Samuel said, men are the ones who decide which woman gets a ring on her finger and which one don't. Men are the ones who decide that. So although women think they have it made because they have a whole wide range of men that are willing to lay down with them in bed, that is nothing. Because that man, yeah, you got him to lay in bed with you, but in the morning, guess what? He's up and out the door and you're sitting there by yourself. That man has put on his clothes in the morning and he's out. He's gone off to the next one. And you're sitting here thinking that you got him. Oh, I did it. Look at me. I can get another man and another man. Yeah, but can you keep? Keeping is the accomplishment, not getting. The next one. Hold on, guys. This is the reason why we have less commitment, especially for women, because women believe I have these many options. Because online, if you guys notice, online, you always swipe, 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 swipe. This is also creating a black pill world. The black pill, the one that Dio likes, not that he likes, but whatever. The black pill. The black pill, I don't really know much about it, but I know that it's doom and gloom. Another part of the black pill, I believe, is where they talk about looks and how looks is the thing that is overriding everything, right? If you look good, you'll get it all. If you don't look good, you get nothing. This is what we have with the options. You guys remember the Tinder and what's the other one, guys? Whatever all the dating websites or the hookup websites are. You swipe, swipe, swipe until you see something that you like. It's not about the person and their character and who they are or what they do or how they contribute to the world and humanity as a whole. It's nothing about that. It's all about how you look. You see the man posing in front of a Ferrari. Oh, all the girls swiping whichever way is like, I don't know which, if it's right or left where you swipe, but all the girls are checking off that one. Ooh, he's in front of a Ferrari. But you see a man who just posts a picture in his work jumpsuit or something. Oh, and guess what? That creates a world where you see the majority of men aren't getting attention. We have the we have the most men by age 30 that are single, unmarried, and even virgins ever in history right now. The most men are reaching their adulthood. When I say adulthood, I mean 30. When you're reaching adulthood and there hasn't been any marriage, a lot of them are reaching adulthood and being virgin. Why? Is it the women who are doing this or is it the men? Is it the men choosing this or is it that they're being forced into this incel life, this involuntarily celibate life? Who's choosing this? Are they? Or is it involuntary? I don't know. But this is also creating lonelier men. Men are lonelier. Before, we used to have a system where this is why arranged marriage works so well too. I have to admit, arranged marriage works because it ensures that there's a woman for every man. If you leave it up to women to choose, the women more than likely are going to choose wrong because women, something in here, they don't choose right. We as women are stupid when it comes to choosing. That's why I'm glad for my family. I'm glad they chose for me. Because I see women in America, you have all the freedom to choose and you fail. Every single time you fail. Why? Because you're choosing that picture with the guy with the in front of the Ferrari instead of choosing the blue collar worker there who would give you the world. But no, he doesn't have a Ferrari. He doesn't look good. He's not his pictures aren't looking good, so no. It's all about how he looks. The next bullet point that I gave you is selfishness. I said selfishness of the human reverts us to being cavemen, looking to fulfill our desires without a care. We have become selfish. We are selfish. It's all about what I want. Me, me, me. My needs, my life, my pleasure, mine. It's not thinking about the other person that you're laying down with. The hookup culture, right? You lay down with someone and you don't see them the next day, and that's fine. You just shared juices with that person. You just shared bodily juice with that person. You're never going to see them again. Disgusting. And then you're going to do it again with someone else. Not only is that nasty, not only is that disgusting, not only does that create STDs that have no cure, but then you're also selfish. You're not thinking about the future. You're not caring about that person, how that person is going to soak up that moment that you two just had. How is that person going to be affected by that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's cool. I know. I know. It's boring, isn't it? It's boring. It's boring to talk about that. To talk about the effects of you sticking yourselves, you sticking your wee wee somewhere, or you allowing your hole to be penetrated. Oh, this is boring talk. We don't want to talk about the effects of that. Because even when we talk about the effects of pregnancy, oh, that's a whole different conversation. I should be able to kill. I should be able. Do you guys realize the psychology behind this? This is something that Jordan Peterson recently brought up, and this is kind of part of the reason why I wanted to answer that woman's question in my email. Jordan Peterson said, you have to be a psycho. You have to be psychologically messed up to be able to live in a hookup culture and be happy, because there's something wrong. There's something wrong with this psychologically. He said that there has to be something wrong here, that we don't value the human or the experience anymore. There's nothing special anymore about sex. There's nothing special about you bonding with this person. There's nothing special anymore because that person has been bonding so many times with other men's. This person, this woman, is no longer valuable. So the man doesn't value her. She doesn't value herself, so the man doesn't value her. What I spoke about, I think it was a haya. You guys remember the haya of a woman. This is something that Arabs we look for, and people say, "Oh, that's pervertive." It is not pervertive to expect a woman to have haya. Haya is shyness, uh, demure, being untouched, right? You touch a woman, you touch her here or here around her waist or something like that, and she goes like that, that kind of cuteness. Why? Because she's not used to being touched. It makes it special. I touch her and she reacts because she's not touched all the time. It's beautiful. She still has something left in her. But instead, you see women today, you touch them and there's no reaction. You touch them and they're like, "Stop touching me. Get your hand off me." You guys know Denzel Washington? Denzel Washington, every movie that he has, he's always said, "Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me." There's no demureness in the woman. There's no haya. She's been touched so many times that she doesn't even feel anything anymore. She feels nothing. So why do we expect men to develop these feelings for these women who don't feel anything anymore? They've been touched, groomed, massaged, pounded, streaked, every other word that you want to use, so much that nothing that you can do to them is going to create any feeling for them. But you are supposed to develop feeling as a man for her. And you are supposed to be enticed to take care of this woman for the rest of her life, even though she has given herself to so many other men for free. For free. Just, oh, it was a hookup culture. It was a hookup. We just hooked up, right? That we were just hooking up. Honey, that wasn't serious. We were just hooking up. How much did he pay for you to hook up with you? Nothing, honey. I'm not a prostitute. Ah. So how much do you expect me to pay for you to be with you? You want me to buy you a house? You want me to buy you cars? You want me to take you places and treat you good and treat you like a queen? But did he have to do it? Did he have to do all these things to lay down with you? No, well, we were just drunk and we just hooked up. Oh, so that was the price of admission. A bit of drink. Well, I can provide that, but I'm not going to give you the house, the car, the dog, I'm not going to give you all of these other things that no one else had to give you. I'm not. And you shouldn't. We are creating a black pill world. I wrote this down. We are creating a black pill world where only the attractive get loved or get love or get attention. But this is only when it comes to men. When it comes to women, it's not about only the attractiveness, because even the most unattractive women can still get love and attention from men. And this is creating angrier men and angrier women, but more so angrier men. The only reason why the women are angry is because their plan isn't working as they want it to. But the men are the ones who are angry because they are the true victim in all of this. And I know people hate to hear that. Oh, how are men a victim to hookup culture? They're participating in it too. They are. They are. But I want to say, when we're talking about this black pill world that's coming, men will be the ones to suffer mostly when it comes to intimacy, because intimacy is something that we all need. All humans need to be touched, all humans need to be loved. And if we create this world where only you see online and you what is this thing? You swipe for the people who look good, or the people who look like they have something, look like they have money or whatever, then all those good men that don't have that image that you're looking for are going to be left behind in the dust. All those good men that could have been great husbands, great fathers, they're going to be left. And for why? All because the women, 80% are chasing after this small 10 to 20% of men. And that those little bit of percent of men aren't even interested in the majority of those women. But those women will not settle for you, for the average man, or for the working man, the what, blue collar man. They're not going to settle for you because they're too busy still trying their best to get to that top man. I want the top one with the Ferrari. I want that one. Mommy, daddy, I want that one. Oh, honey, well, that one doesn't want you. But why? The reason is because you have too many toys in your dresser next to your bed, honey. And all of those toys have rendered you useless and worthless. So, how about you figure out something else, baby? Because that life that you're looking for is not going to work. That Ferrari guy is not going to come for you. No, 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 no. Next one I have for you is that women gravitate to a certain kind of man, and we already know that. I wrote that at the end because I was thinking about something else, but nonetheless, the quality of women decreases. The quality of women has decreased, and it continues to decrease. Today, I heard a song on the YouTube. I'm going to say on the YouTube. I heard a song on YouTube. I was watching the shorts on YouTube, and the song came on because people play music on their YouTube shorts. And the music said, music is a wrong word for it, but it said something like, put that thing on a platter. I want to eat it. That's my favorite fruit. I'm going to bang it. Oh, red lights don't mean nothing to me. I banged her on the red light, so we had to change the sheets. I don't even remember the rest. It was something, I don't know. But you get the idea of the music that was playing. You understand. And that was from the men. And then there was another woman rapper who rapped another song similar to that, talking about how one hole is brown and one hole is pink, and this is, and these are women on music, supposed music. This isn't getting any better. Just when you think it doesn't get any worse, it just continues to swirl in the toilet bowl. It's just getting worse. I think something has to happen, guys. Something has to happen. So here we go. The access to sex is determined by women. Women determine who has sex, who gets loved, who gets touched, and who gets intimacy. Social distancing from technology creating barriers between the person next to you. Instead of you speaking to the person next to you when you're on the train, you're too busy looking in your phone, looking at somebody who's across the country. Yes, you're connected to that person across the country, but you're less connected to the person that's next to you. The person who's actually close range to you, you know nothing about them, but you know everything else about that person who's 3,000 miles away from you. Social brainwashing, telling the youth that marriage and commitment is for squares. That is old school. Nobody does that anymore. It's not fun. You don't need that. The next thing is selfishness. Selfishness is reverting us humans into cavemen, looking to fulfill our desires, our most basic desires, without a care. I thought we evolved beyond that, but I guess not. The next thing is the quality of women decreasing and the illusion of a wide range of choices for women. Women believing that they have so many options until the options run out all of a sudden. And then they freak out. And then that's when you see the women turn around and say, no, 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 no. I'll be a good wife. I just want to be a wife. Wait a minute. All your 20s and 30s, you were talking about how you're a boss, bish. You were talking about how I don't need a man. And don't ever think you're irreplaceable. I can get another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. Your 20s and 30s, that was all you were saying. That was your anthem. And now when you hit your 40s, 50s, now when all of your options, supposed options, are no longer there, now you're, oh, I want to be a wife. I'm a good wife. I found Jesus. Do you know how many women are in the church in their 40s, single, rack full of children, in their 40s, talking about how they are born again virgins? They have found their long lost virginity. They are virgins. Ask their 7 children. Their 7 children will tell you, no, 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 no. My mother has found her virginity. How many women are in the church like that right now? And then they become preachers. Not only do they attend the church right after hitting the wall, but then after that, they become the preacher of said church. And Christianity is allowing that, allowing women who have hit the wall with 7 children and 8 baby daddies to preach to men and tell men how to be religious, good men. And their first sermon typically consists of them telling men how they should be accepting and willing to accept a woman with children's, and how they should pay for those women's children. Don't ask questions, because that's being a good godly man for you. Women should not be preaching over men. Women will always lead men astray when it comes to religion. Women use religion for their own benefit. We know this. We know this. I mean, even men use religion for their own selfish wants and needs. But women are even worse, because women create simps. All this sympathy, and have the sympathy for these women. Oh, sympathy. No, you're creating simps. Stop it. This is also creating lonelier men. Men that, it's not that they want to be lonely, but loneliness is the better option. Before, we used to have pairs for everybody. There's a woman for every man, because people knew, listen, this is where they would tell the women before, woman, you're not the best looking woman in the world, but you're not the ugliest woman in the world. You are about average. And you being about average are a perfect match for this gentleman right here, who is about average himself. He's a hardworking man. He follows the Lord. He's God-fearing. And he'll take care of you. And you, as an average woman, will be good for him. And women would accept it and move on and get married. And every woman had a man, and every man had a woman. Today, we have let women take the reins of culture, of sex culture and hookup. This is why we have hookup culture, because women have taken the reins. Hookup culture, I don't believe, is started by men. The reason I don't believe it started by men is because, like I said, men will do the goat cheese with who they can, and women do it with who they want. If it weren't for the abundance of hoes, we wouldn't have hookup culture. But because of the abundance of hoes, this is the reason why we have hookup culture. And my last point was that we are creating a black pill world where only the attractive get loved and get intimacy and attention. This is creating angrier men and angrier women, thus also creating hatred and resentment to women. The hatred is coming from watching women that are average come onto their screens with, gosh, who knows? It could be makeup, it could be plastic surgery, it could be filters, it could be anything, coming to them and telling them that they're boss bitches and that they deserve high quality men, high value men. They deserve millionaires. And that if you're not a millionaire, you need not even try to talk to them. That hatred and resentment is coming, and it's coming in many forms. As we see an uptick of men killing women. We've seen where, who was the guy, not the Columbine, not that one, there was a shooter who went around killing all the pretty girls in his university. The reason was not because that they were pretty, but because they were pretty ambitious. They thought too much of themselves. They put that man down. They told him he's useless and worthless, and oh, he could never talk to them, when the truth is he was their level, but they didn't realize it because they're. So anyway, here is that. So yeah, so I did answer the question, why is women's sexuality controlled more than men's sexuality? Again, the answer is because women control access to sex and men, they don't. I'm going to open chat. I'll open up the chat, you guys, and then we can talk for a little bit. But it is Thursday, and I know we can't really stay too long because work is in a couple of hours. I'm putting the. There we go. I put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to join me. Mods, please post the link anytime you remember to do so. I'm going to look at your guys' comments for the meantime. Oh my gosh, I missed so many comments. I'm sorry, guys. I miss you guys so much. Okay, here we go. Hello, Neil. Solving Politics says, yet 80% of Muslims vote for Democrats. Hookup party, gay marriage, LGBTQIA plus insanity plus pedos plus everything sick. Pro-abortion party. You know what? Solving Politics, that irks me too. It really makes me so mad to see Muslims voting for Democrats. But you know the reason why it is. Muslims Muslims are kind of like how the black community were. The black community was afraid to vote right because they thought that they were voting against their own self-interest, their own best interest. And that's what's happening with the Muslims now too. A lot of them come from the Middle East and all they want is to be safe. And so you see these Democrats telling them, we protect the immigrants, we protect you. People like Trump and everybody else are going to deport you. They're going to try to, shoot you down in the streets. So that's the reason why they vote that way. They don't agree with half that stuff the Democrats are doing, but they don't know any better. All they know is that Democrats seem safe, Republicans seem dangerous for them. That's all they know. So, yes, I hate it. I hate it too, Solving Politics. But you understand the Democrats' tactics or the liberal tactics, they work. They work. We can say anything we want about them, but their tactics work. They know how to get people to be afraid of the right. They know, and it's working. Hi, Midnight Sun. Oh, Samuel says that villager in Sweden is preferable because I can just shut the computer off. I haven't so much as learned my neighbors' names since before the internet was commonplace. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear it. Hi, Frost. Frost says a man cannot be a hoe. He has to be the homemaker. High Street White Male. Dio. He says, I'm not sure I buy the social brainwashing aspect since the AABB paternity fraud number for 3 out of 10 dads not being the dad were from the 90s, and the milkman came before that. The deal was always bad. I don't know what you mean by the social brainwashing. Which part was that was talking about? Oh, saying that telling the youth that marriage and commitment is old school. So you're saying 3 out of 10 fathers, oh, when they're married, were not the fathers. But yeah, but that has nothing to do, that still doesn't have anything to do with why they're telling the youth today that marriage and commitment is old school, and why you shouldn't be chaste, you shouldn't be virgins, you shouldn't be anything. You need to be out there having sex. That has nothing to do with, to me, that has nothing to do with the 3 out of 10 number. The 3 out of 10 number is a whole different problem that we have, and that's why I believe DNA test should be done on every child born, married or not. That man has a right to know if he is a father. And women, you shouldn't be afraid of that, should you? You shouldn't be afraid of that. You should be encouraging that, shouldn't you, women? Unless you're a hoe. That's the only reason why you should be scared. Hmm. Fionn said repugnant and vile. Uh, he says, what is this show all about? Uh, he said, if it is about mental health, I am in. You can see if it's about mental. This is men are walking away. Oh, you mean this is why men are walking away? I know. And I told you, I don't agree with it, but I understand why it's happening. I understand completely. I just, I guess I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because I don't want to see the West fall. But the West is going to fall no matter what, you know? Sometimes it's better to speed up the fall rather than have it go slowly, I guess. Dex says no one is loyal anymore. Exactly. Exactly. We're all treated like we are disposable. Humans are disposable to one another. Mr. Renegade, we don't need to walk away. We need to put our feet down and change the narrative. But that would be part of walking away now, wouldn't it? Because you're walking away from the current culture by putting your feet down and basically saying, stop, enough. Wouldn't it? Frost, hoflation, men have to work 20 times harder to get women. 20 times, women 20 times worse than their grandmothers. Oh my gosh, you are so right. That is so true. Men are working so much harder to get women, but the women that they are getting are 20 times worse than the women that require less work to get from the past. At least before, when you got a woman, you knew that she was going to come with a certain set of skills. You knew that she was going to come with all of her wifehood or womanhood intact, that she was going to know how to do things. She was going to be prepared to serve and to be useful to you. Now, you can't even get that, but now you have to be a millionaire just to get a woman that's going to sit on her arse all day and talk about how she's popping on the gram. I'm popping on the gram. And who's interested in being an OnlyFans, I guess. Thomas says a modern Western 304's body count is at least thrice what she admits to. This stresses me out, and I'm not even a man. I'm not even a man. I don't know how you men do it. I really don't. And that's why I said I feel so bad. And I don't want men to feel like I'm throwing a pity party for you. I'm not throwing a pity party, but at the same time, when I just sit and think about half of the stuff that men have to choose from, Mr. Renegade says, yeah, Beyonce has been lying to women for years. Hova created that and she stayed. Oh, Hova cheated on her and she stayed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Wait. That you bring up a good point. She said, you're not irreplaceable. I can have another one of you by tomorrow. But when her husband cheated on her, she stayed in that marriage. She made sure to sit down in her home and fix her marriage, right? She didn't say, "Oh, what's that song says? Get your stuff out the closet. I'll call you a cab." All these things. You didn't see her doing that to her husband when they had marital issues. No, quite the contrary. But then she tells women out there, all the single ladies with her hand with a ring on it. She has a ring on her finger, but she's talking about all the single ladies, all the single ladies. What single ladies? You're right, Mr. Renegade. She always talks about how you don't need that man and blah, blah, blah. But when her man cheated on her, she fixed her marriage. Gosh. Neil says, but even if no one on a dating site had an STD, hookup culture is still degenerate. Clearly, clearly. I see you, Dio. Just give me a second, Dio. I'm just reading the comments. I see you guys in the back. I just want to get through a few of the comments first. I see you guys. Hold on. Yeah, somebody, Fiona agrees with Neil. Oh, PJ Bear, thank you. I usually come on your time when you're ready to sleep. Okay, here we go. I'm coming down to the bottom. I'm finally getting down to the bottom a little bit. Dio, he spoke about this. He said some men are participating in hookup culture, some. However, 63% of men under 30 are electively single and not looking. So, majority is not partaking. Most men are disgusted by hookup culture, and I don't blame them. Men, if you remember, I told you guys, remember we were speaking, I told you what makes a woman a good fit to be your wife. Remember, I told you guys, if you can look at that woman and be proud to call her your mother or to have your kid call her their mother, that is a woman that you can marry because you need to think more in the future. Don't just think about how sexy she is or how, whatever. 1 second, guys. Hello. Hi, doing good. A little bit busy. I'm in the middle of a stream right now online. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I was thinking about, well, let me know that you mention it. I was thinking about actually getting that information to you because I am seriously interested in doing that. I really want to get that done if possible. Yeah, yeah, I think I would be a good fit, honestly. I think with my knowledge of the mafia, I think I should be able to get this done. Have plenty of clients. All right. All right then. Well, I'll give you a call back after I finish here. Mm. Unmute. Okay. So here we go. We were talking about how so when you said that they're not partaking, I agree with you, Dio. You said that and that most men are disgusted. But if you look at the women today and you look at them and you see that most men are judging the woman by their sexiness and attractiveness, because in their mind, I can't be with a woman that I'm not attracted to for the rest of my life, right? They're like, I can't be with a woman I'm not attracted to. But if you use your mind to say, if I can see this woman and be proud to have my child call this woman mommy, then that is a woman that I can be with. That's a woman that I can be with. I can see her being the woman that my child calls mommy. Because you have to think of it, if you the woman that is sexy to you, the woman that is sexually appealing to you, she might not be the best woman for your kid to call mommy. Unfortunately, you're going to make a woman, or you're going to make your child call a hoe mommy, just because you're so attracted to her curves and her sexiness and the Daisy Dukes, that she's wearing, the short whatever that she wears. Yeah, you're attracted to that, but remember, that kid has to call that woman mommy. Anyway, I'm going down. I'm going all the way down. Okay, I'm gonna start adding you guys. Hi, Larry. Hi, Dio. Hi,
Hey,
Muscular.
just so you know, you weren't muted. We heard everything, including the person that was on the phone. I
Lovely.
was, yeah, I was texting you. I was like, "Hey, mute, mute." I was trying to get you
Lovely.
to look at your phone.
Okay. Okie dokie. All right. Well, thanks. I didn't say anything crazy. I mean,
Yeah, you
it
did.
was fine. It was fine. It was a normal
Okay,
conversation that everybody has.
okay, boss, godmother.
You can love women or you can understand them, but you can't do both. That's a lie, Frost. That is a lie. Now, that sounds cute. It sounds cute to write on a placard. That sounds cute, right? It does sound like something you could write on a placard and it looks like it's something so wise. And that's not true. It's not true.
I think for a lot of men, it is a little true because we grow up with this
Yeah.
idea that women love unconditionally. And when we learn that they don't, that is a real shock for us. when you start to see the way the gears turn, it's not what what we expected from what we grew up with a mother. Like, a mother loves her child unconditionally, but a wife doesn't love her husband unconditionally.
What does that have to do with understanding a woman? If you understand her, then you can't love her.
Well, if you understand that she loves what she can get from you for what she feels from you, but it's conditional, then that is a harsh thing to understand, because she doesn't really love you. She loves what she gets. She loves what you make her feel, but she doesn't love you.
But that's part of you understanding her nature. And her nature doesn't make her evil. That is her nature, her programming from birth.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it's not natural. I'm just saying that once you understand it, it does change your view of them. It changes your ability to love them in return.
Do you agree with that, Hustler?
What, that statement that you can love them but not understand them, or you can't do both? That's cap. I'm calling cap. You can love a woman and understand them at the same doggone time. Understanding how they act, why they act the way they act, understand their nature, but at the same time, love them. Once you understand their nature, it's pretty easy.
So you're saying you could love a woman who will only ever love you conditionally.
What?
So if a woman doesn't love you unconditionally, if she loves you conditionally, if there's requirements and you don't meet those requirements, you know she's not going to love you anymore. You will still love her the same way.
Well, what are those requirements? If they're superficial BS, then no. But if they're the basic necessity to keep a marriage and a relationship going, then yes, we have to do that. I mean, don't be that guy that gets a wife and then you start slipping up, not being on your purpose, not being on your grind. I'm not taking care of the family because, well, you got what you wanted. I've heard stories of men who fall off because they finally get a woman. They finally got access to a woman sexually, yada, yada, yada. That happens, If that's what you're doing, then that's BS. I've heard the stories. I know what happens.
I wouldn't disagree with that. There are set reasonable expectations of what a man is supposed to bring to the table and what a woman is supposed to be bringing to the table. And I think for both genders, that's largely been lost. There's these unrealistic expectations from both sides. And I think that has done a lot of damage, more than anything.
But part of those unrealistic expectations comes from the internet. Don't you guys think? There's so many people comparing their relationship in real life to a TikTok relationship or Instagram relationship.
Not like I said in the comments. With soap operas too, they actually did a study where developing countries first brought soap operas into their nations, and women started seeing these people on the TV living these lives in these mansions with these fantastical stories going on around them, and the divorce rates just started spiking because women are always keeping up with the Joneses. Men don't really keep up with the Joneses that much unless we're trying to get a woman, but women are always keeping up with the Joneses. And once they start seeing these imaginary figures, they start saying, why don't I have that? And it doesn't matter if you live in a third world country where those men just don't exist at all. It's just...
I agree with Mr. Renegade. He says that's why it's important to make her respect you first. And that's the thing about, and do you guys remember we spoke about that before? If the woman respects you, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how top you are in your field or what have you. She respects you as a man. You as a man, it doesn't matter how much you have or don't have, you're still a man. And that is what should matter more than anything.
Correct. But keep in mind, you can have a woman, you can have her respect, but still not have her love and attraction, aka friend zone. So watch out for that.
No, Hustler, I'm going to disagree with you there because who cares about her friendship? We don't need her friendship. She needs to respect. I don't even care about the woman's love. She needs to respect you and know her place and her duty. That is more important, and that's going to keep a stronger relationship than this whole love feeling, because women's love is finicky and women's love is up and down and left and right, and it's cold and it's hot. Don't depend on a woman's love. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Truism.
Men want respect relationships, not emotional relationships. That's what it is. The thing
with women, it's so, and me as a woman, I'm speaking as hello here.
You have to, it's understandable.
It's up and down. I could go weeks, truism. I could go weeks without liking my husband. That is not the point of my marriage. I don't need to like him. I need to respect him.
My wife calls me and she actually says, I do not, there are many times when I do not like you, but I do respect you and I love you. And I said, that's all I require. I don't see, I know that it goes back to what that first guy's statement was, when how can you love a woman and not understand them and love them at the same time? You can't do both. You can. The same way you can understand the nature of a dog and still have a relationship with that dog, the same way you understand a relationship with a cat, you can have the same thing with a woman. And yes, I don't want to get anybody all in their feelings. Like, you're talking about women as cats. No. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about understanding the nature of things. Understanding the nature of things, what your job is as a man. That's a saying.
Do you have a response to that?
Oh, okay, well, there we go.
Because that's Dio's point. Dio said it's impossible to know her nature and still love her unconditionally.
All right, well, let's go.
I'd say you can understand a dog and love a dog because a dog loves you unconditionally. But I think for the question of being respected, I'd have to ask, what does it take to make a woman respect a man? What is the standard to which men are supposed to live up to? Because that seems like it's a goalpost that has moved a lot over the last few decades.
I'll make it simple for you, right? As long as you're a man who, number one, is not going to be easily cowed by the random dumb shit that she comes up with, and due to her emotions, her period, whatever nonsense is going on, right? As long as you are confident in yourself, you are on your square, and you make it very clear what will and will not be tolerated. In my own relationship, my wife knows the kind of guy I am, right? And I don't tolerate a lot of bullshit because I'm a man who's raised by a man who was raised by a man. I have a very small amount of tolerance for bullshit, especially at this time in my life. Maybe if I was younger, maybe, but no, not now in my life. So as long as a woman understands, so as long as you are secure in yourself, whatever it is, and you are not going to deviate from your purpose, she has only two options. It's either my way or the highway.
So you're saying,
and like Usher said, she likes it my way.
No singing.
My way.
Well, I will mute. Okay, who else needs to be muted? Stop. No singing.
My bad.
Are you saying?
My bad.
Sorry.
Are you saying though that if a man is being tested by a woman in that way, that he walks out? I mean, what is the appropriate response?
No, you don't. No. You don't walk out. You don't walk out. You let him know exactly it's going to be X, Y, and Z. Now, you can say very calmly, I understand you have an issue. You have a problem. I understand all these things. We can either do one of two things. We can either, A, you can work with me to help you get your problem fixed, or B, you can just get on hell out my face. But I'm not going to be dealing with all this other up and down. I'm not going to be dealing with that. That's not how it's going to happen.
And,
I need to respond.
And if she says no?
Then she says no.
I need to respond.
And then what, though? I mean, what is your repercussion?
My repercussion is going about my day. Have her do whatever she got to do. You don't have to. If you talk about, I need to come on, go and go, oops, upside her head, oops, upside her head. I'm not doing all that. You don't need to do all that. Again, it's about you maintaining your center.
I'm just trying to understand here, though. Are you saying that to win her respect, your options are you tell her to do what you say, or just keep doing whatever you want, and then you'll just do your own thing and ignore it?
No, that's not what he's implying.
I'm saying you stay centered on whatever you have to do, and you do not get deviated by whatever kind of turmoil she may want to bring in one way or another. It's about you being focused on your purpose, period. And she has no choice but to respect that. Or she can just leave. Either which way, you're you. Sorry about that.
I need
Go ahead.
to get a word in, guys. Let me get a word in really quickly. Regarding you, truism, you said you talking about not being off your square and so on and so forth. I'll give you an example of what you mean, because I've seen it in my own life with my husband. My husband does not argue with me. He doesn't argue with me. And there's something that, I mean, I've seen other women argue with their husbands. They have great arguments. They go back and forth. My husband will never go back and forth with me. I can speak, but yet, he's not going to respond to me after he told me something. He's just like, yeah, whatever you want to do with that information, that's what you do. He's not going to go back and forth. Like, I've seen men go back and forth and yelling at their women, back and forth and yelling and all of this. Never had it. I think that's what truism means by not getting off your square. The other thing I wanted to comment on was Frost, because we have to hear our people in the chat. Frost said, it's just not worth taking women seriously in 2024. You either just use them for recreational or go monk. Marrying a woman is basically a death sentence in the West. You know what?
It's not just 2024.
What do you guys want to say?
It's not just 2024. It's been going on for some years now. 2024, 2023, 22, 21, 2019. This has been going on for years now. So the dating market been dying over the decades. So yeah.
Just to go back for a second, though, you mentioned that your husband doesn't do the back and forth with you. But you've also mentioned on a past stream that your husband directly disciplines you in physical ways. Now, that is an actionable plan, but it is also something that can lead to the police being called in. So I think what I'm trying to ask is, as a man, what are the actionable ways, the actionable avenues that are open to us as men to deal with these kind of tests? That I mean, women like to test men. They like to see where they can push the boundaries. How do we handle these things in a way that actually works, where we don't go to jail and there's actually something concrete done as a solution, where she just doesn't keep doing it anyway?
Now, can I be frank, Amira? Since this is your channel. All right. Here's the first thing you do. All right. You don't engage in a long-term relationship with the first piece of pussy that comes along. Okay. That's the first thing you do.
Yep.
See, after that, right? Once you've had a chance to actually engage with enough women that you can actually, number one, crush your thirst, and therefore you can just look at every woman objectively, you then start looking for certain traits. Certain traits like cooperation, deference, respect, obedience. And then when you get to that point, hold on, wait, that's a comma, not a period. Then once you get past all of that, then you narrow it down and you get to the one woman that does that. And then at that particular point, you begin grooming her to act in the way you think is conducive for you and your purpose. And then after doing that period, if she goes through all the training that you give her and she finds us and you find her to be worthy, then you put the ring on the woman's finger. You don't just hop into a marriage with the first thing that gave you a good kung fu grip and call it a life.
Well, the problem is, how does the saying go? A woman marries a man thinking she can change him, and he doesn't change. And a man marries a woman thinking she won't change, and she does.
You just don't know
a woman,
and I just got through telling you how to go about it, brother. And I don't know how if you don't want to listen to it, I understand it, but that's how it worked with me and my wife, and we've been together now for 11 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're improving your odds. So I'm not denying that, but I'm saying we're in a situation now where, as Amira just stated, the West is dying. The Daily Wire just did a big panel about this. They're catching a lot of flack because what they said was, yeah, we understand the situation's hard right now, but just do it. Just go through with it anyway, because we need people to get married. Now, and my perspective coming from the red pill is men are not going to do that. We are not going to jump on the grenade to save the West.
And I agree with that. I would basically tell any young man at this particular point that the possibility of you trying to find a woman that's a lot like my wife is very, 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 very damn near over to infinity slim to do that. Yes.
I need to get in here really quickly, guys. I hear you guys out, and I see Hustler wants to say something too. Hustler, I'll get to you, I promise. When you guys are speaking about consequences, because Dio is talking about consequences, if there are no consequences and actual consequences that spark fear, or consequences that actually work and get the results that you're looking for, then what's the point of doing them? He's saying what I've been saying for years here on the channel, men are not allowed to lead their homes properly. If a man sees problems in his household, there's only a couple of things that he can do because he's limited by daddy government, police, and the family courts. There's so many restrictions to his leadership, and that should not be. One of those ways to get around that, Dio, would be to find a woman that understands the system of leadership and how it should be. A woman like myself, I understand my husband's leadership, and I understand that what happens in our house stays in our household. If there's something that happens, even, you know, what they will consider crimes or what have you, this is happening in our household, and this is something that I would never call the police on my husband for. He would never be arrested for something so silly as that, because we just don't live in that type of system. So Dio, if you're with an American woman, she has been raised up with the American system of the moment he puts a hands on you, girl, you call police or you leave. Nice. And you can't leave your home with a woman who doesn't understand her place or understand the system of man over woman, woman over children. If she doesn't understand that, then there's no way you can lead her.
Well, I would not disagree with that, but that creates a rather massive problem, because men and women are created at a 1-to-1 ratio, and we can't just go over and steal all the Muslim women out of the Middle East to have wives for ourselves. That's not going to work for the men over there. So
no, I understand. There has to be women here, I would assume, that aren't like Christian.
No, because unfortunately
we're created at a 1-to-1 ratio, though. So if you have, let's say, 60% of the women that are no good, then you have 60% of the men who either have to do without or take a bad deal. So that's 60% of the men. That's a huge chunk of the population.
Dio, you got called out really quickly. I don't mean to change the subject, but I want to get through this because the chat is speaking and I can't have my chat be ignored. Samuel in the chat said, if understanding your woman prevents you from loving her, your love is the one that's conditional. What do you have to say?
I would not disagree, but I also think it is insanely painful to love someone who doesn't love you back. I learned that the hard way with my own marriage, and I would not advise it. So love someone who loves you back.
You didn't say the love isn't there. You said it's conditional. It can still be there.
Conditional for a man is if you love a man, he will love you back. Conditional for a woman is if I don't have a house that keeps up with the next door neighbor, you're not a good provider, so I don't love you anymore.
That just means you chose the wrong woman. To quote Indiana Jones, you chose poorly.
So what do we do with the men who don't have the right woman? Again, this goes back to the ratio. If you got 60% of women that are the wrong woman, what do you do with that 60% of men? We need them to work. We need them to do things, and they're not motivated. They have no stake or investment or potential for a legacy. They will never have sons. They will never have a future in this nation with a family. So what do we do with that?
I would argue that it's not the wrong woman. That's just natural for a woman. I'm not going to say that it's the wrong woman because she expects the man to contribute in certain ways, and if he doesn't, then her love decreases because for us as women, the way a man shows his love is by taking care of us. If you're not taking care of us, to us, we feeling that you don't love us.
And I can agree with that.
I have to disagree because, all right, if you put a roof over the head and food on the table, you're taking care of them. But if you start turning into keeping up with the Joneses, you're never going to be the absolute best man. There's always going to be a bigger fish.
That's
exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
you're saying to keep up and keep going up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, he's not saying I'm not saying not provide at all. I was actually answering to what he was saying. A woman who is so set on trying to keep up and try to have the latest of everything is different. Well, okay, a bitch that does that is different from a woman who is willing to have the kind of home to make sure. I'll put it like this: with me and my wife have the exact same goal, and the goal is our kids are going to win. Period. And the best chance for us, our children, to win is for both of us to work together than against each other. You need to have a woman that's kind of set on that particular goal.
Exactly. That's the point I was making. You can't make it always about lavish. To some women, it's more about a lavish lifestyle than just a basic lifestyle. Why we gotta have the latest clothes or the biggest house or the fanciest car? The hell with all that stuff. Be happy you got a damn car, a damn house, and a school for your kids to go to. Seriously.
Correct.
Whatever happened to value in the basic necessities? Now we just want luxurious bullshit. Excuse my language. BS. Sorry. Like I can't away. My bad. I'm sorry.
At least you care about the language. Truism.
My bad. Sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, you say that, I can be frank. I toned it down. I apologize.
I like your animated speech, but I don't know how my viewers appreciate that because I have a lot of people who are Christians here, Mormons here, Muslims here, and they might be listening to this kind of But I wanted to give you guys 5 more minutes because it is a weekday and there is work in a couple of hours. So, is there anything else that you guys want to say in the last 5 minutes?
By the way, I'm a Christian too, but I've had moments where I lose my mind, so I'm not offended.
Well, I do want to thank you for having me up. Appreciate you. I'll probably start by a little bit more often. Thanks again, and best of luck to you. Guys, just keep at it as best you can. Stay on your square, fam.
Thank you so much, Truism, for showing up today. I appreciate it. And that's my first time seeing Truism. I don't know if any of you guys have seen him before.
No.
Never? Oh.
And yes, Amira, you mentioned the church thing because I was always told since I was younger, son, go to church and meet a woman. Son, go to church and find yourself that Christian, God-fearing women. But based on what I'm hearing and kind of what I'm seeing, first of all, there's more women at church than men, which for better or for worse. And second of all, half of those women that go to church, are they even qualified to be wives in the first place? Because we hear about the whole born again virgin or whatever. Like you said, you ran the streets throughout your 20s, had kids by that guy, Now you want to go to the house of the Lord claiming you want to be forgiven for all your sins. Seriously, what man is going to take up on that damn offer knowing that you're damaged goods at that point? I'm not saying you can't repent for your sins, but Jesus Christ, as a 39-year-old man with no children, what the hell am I going to do with a wannabe Christian woman? I'm sorry. I just have to say it.
Let's get Slurp out of here. He is.
Man. That sounds like you got a personal story to tell.
Can we get a testimony?
Dude, he's not wrong in that the chameleons are really screwing things up for the good women, because wherever men are told go find a woman, women will hear that too, and if they want a man, they will start going there. So you end up with a lot of the bad women going in pretending to be the good women, and then the men don't know which ones are which. But,
and that's why a lot of men are just backing off of them as a whole and saying, I'm not even going to try to sort through the good ones or the ones that seem good. And that's the problem because, like I said, I hate to see the culture fall this way. We're not going to survive like this. And I say women have ruined this. Women are the ones who ruined the culture. Women are the ones who created this hookup culture. The reason why things are so diminished and worthless and the quality and the value of women is decreasing so badly is because of women.
Well, we've made a mess.
And you know what else is funny?
We can't just pretend the mess we've made doesn't exist. So I think what we're going to have to do is start investing into making the future generations better. We're going to take a hit. Our population's going to decline a little bit, but we'll be okay. And we need to start focusing on things like automation to start picking up for the coming demographic winter. I'm not a huge fan of Andrew Yang's more communist tendencies, but his talks about we need to start taxing automation to pay for the workers. There's plenty of public works that we could put people into to let them earn a living. So we need to refocus our tax bases.
Neil has responded to you, Dio. He says, I was driving and not keeping up with the chat, but I 100% agree with you on if unmarried, stay a virgin for both men and women. And whether the STD rate is 20% or 70%, it is way too high.
Like I always say, play the game safe or don't play it at all. Wrap it before you tap it.
I will say the only 100% effective way of beating both STD and unwanted pregnancies, but there's always abortion clinics apparently.
I will say on the 20% thing, they're saying 20% STDs over at the CDC, but they're also at the CDC saying 50% of people have oral herpes. So obviously there's a little bit of weird math going on there. I'd really advise the viewers take a deep dive into the stats and kind of look into all the craziness that's going on, not just to learn about the STD rates, but to learn about how the government's kind of lying to us.
Isn't
you
that
got to look into
crazy?
how the study is being even done to come up with that data too. Like, you can't always trust what is thrown out there as the headline. You got to look into how it got there.
You see how many people, when even at work, or if we see people in the store, the cashiers, when I see them, some of them have that sore kink, they call it kinker sore, and I'm like, where'd that come from? They say, oh, I had a fever the other day. It happens when I get a fever, this comes out. I'm like, I've had so many fevers in my life, and I've never had anything pop up around my mouth. I've never had a sore around my mouth, and I've had plenty of fevers, 105, and never.
Well, the scary thing about it is oral herpes is actually linked to cancer and birth defects, but it's very easy to spread. I've talked to multiple guys where they've had like an aunt come up and kiss them on the cheek or something when they have it, and then the guy's got it for life. There was one woman, her mother-in-law kissed her on the cheek and gave it to her. Then she gave it to her husband, her mother's son, the son, and now all three of them have it because the mother gave her oral herpes. So this is it's not something you want.
Wow.
No, not for me.
That's awful. That's awful to hear. You didn't
now
even.
I know what the meaning behind the phrase of "you kiss your mother with that mouth" is.
You didn't even know. You're just a kid, and you just get kissed by the adults in your family, and then you end up with something that Oh, wow. Well, guys, you guys have given me great dreams for tonight. I appreciate the dream fuel for tonight. I'm going to go night-night, and you guys do the same, I hope. Thank you all for joining.
I hope I
we
will.
will.
Dreams, Amira. I didn't say anything too bad, did I?
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
I hope I didn't offend nobody. I have a crude mouth, so please forgive me.
You're fine, Mr.
Hustler. Black History Month.
So
be unfiltered.
Yeah.
Black History Month.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Salute to you.
Salute.
The ballot or the bullet.
Mr. Maverick, please come back on Saturday, okay? Thank you, Mr. Hustler. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Saturday.
Salute to you, Amira. I'm so dear to you.
I'm sorry, Hustler. Sorry about that. I see you next time, Hustler. See you on Saturday. Bye.
Now I was saying, salute to you, Amira. I'm so dear to you. You're more fierce than
Thank you so much. Okay, bye. Thank you, Maverick. Maverick, please come back on Saturday, please.
I'll try my best to if I'm not too busy, because school is kicking my arse right now, okay?
I'm sorry. I haven't seen you in forever.
Here, I'm going to hug the camera.
Oh, thank you.
Alrighty, sweet dreams, okay?
I hope to see you Saturday. But Saturday, like around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay?
Okay, I'll probably come on around that time. I shouldn't be too busy by then. It's usually like during the double-digit hours, I get real busy.
I get it. All right, so 7-ish. So I'll try to be kind of early. All right.
I'll keep my eyes on your channel, okay? I promise.
Thank you. And we keep an eye open for the feds. So we're keeping an eye open for the feds. And what's her name? Not YouTube. Gosh, she doesn't own YouTube anymore. Never mind. I can't even call out Wojcicki. She's not even the owner of YouTube anymore. Thank you, Maverick. I see that in the back. Thank you, Maverick. It's so sweet. All right, I'll stop. I'm just easily happy because people showing love to me is so nice. You guys don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. I mean, and I know that none of you guys have to even come and see me or come and talk with me, and you do. So thank you. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation today about hookup culture in America and how it is destroying the culture, how it is destroying American society as a whole, and how it is devaluing women, how it is devaluing love and intimacy, and how it makes everything so unspecial. Nothing is special anymore. Nothing feels special. When you have so many first dates, when you're going through this hookup culture and you're doing these Tinder dates and all that, first dates are supposed to be something special. But there's nothing special when you've had 12 first dates this week and you're just out there dating. And this is the reason why us as people of the book, Muslims, Christians, the real Christians who don't believe in dating, the Mormons, the Orthodox people, I mean, this is why we don't believe in dating. People say, how can you get married without dating? There are ways, but dating, people think that this is the only way to get married today. This is the only way you're going to find somebody, is you go out there and you meet and you meet and you meet. No, No. Besides, women don't typically pick well anyway by themselves. It is better for a man of the family who cares about that woman to pick for her, or at least help her. You know what I mean? At least give her the options, and then she can choose from those options that he picks. But having a woman choose on her own typically is never going to go well. Women just don't choose well, just like men don't choose well, unfortunately. A lot of men choose poorly. They choose by what they see. They see a pretty girl, they see the body, they see this, and they're attracted. But that might not be the best choice for you. But anyway, I'll stop preaching to you all because I know you guys don't need me preaching to you. Thank you all so much for being with me tonight. I know it was random and it is a weekday, so I will let you guys go. Don't indulge in hookup culture, guys. Please do not indulge in hookup culture. I want to see this be abolished. Let's be smarter. We're in the 2020s, 2025s, 2020. I mean, are we still going to continue this way into 2030, 2035? Are we going to continue this way? Or are we going to change? We're not doing any better. Things aren't getting any better. And bring the nuke. All I'm saying is bring the nuke. Bring the asteroid, whatever it needs to come. Please. Thank you all. I will see you Saturday. And with that, I yield my time. Good night. Wait. Where did you see that, Mr. Renegade? You need to email me that article. If that is an article, you need to email that to me. Because the last one that we did was that woman who she admitted to being with 300. Okay? It was 300. I forget how and what time span. I think it was like a year. This woman, you're saying 900 plus in 7 hours? Is she still alive? Is she alive? Send me the article. lionessexiled@gmail.com. Again, my email is lionessexiled@gmail.com.